Mine too.
I don't want you guys to get mad at me.
Nobody's gonna get mad at you.
To remember to take a picture of this after.
Yeah, we can do that. Good morning, Niagara, and welcome to Niagara in 15. I'm your host, Siavash, and today on the show we are looking at a unique cafe called the Black Sheep Lounge. Let's take a look inside, shall we? That was quite impressive. The Black Sheep Lounge is an artist-friendly environment located in Welland. The owner of the shop, Lucas Spinoza, is here today with the details. Welcome, Lucas. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
It's great to be here, man. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So why don't we start by getting to know you a little bit. Who exactly is Lucas Spinoza?
That's a really philosophical question, but I guess my day-to-day role, I'm the owner of the Black Sheep Coffee Roasters in Welland. We're a small batch coffee roaster, so we take a raw green bean product, turn it into what you see here on the display, and we ship our coffee all over Canada, as well as serving the Niagara region locally with our cafes. So.
Okay, that's good to know. Lucas, was there ever a turning point in your life that you decided to pursue roasting coffee as a career? What happened? What was that feeling? Tell me all about it.
Sure. I think I fell in love with people first, and so when I was deciding kind of the trajectory I wanted to take in my life, I knew I wanted to work for myself. I knew that I wanted to have a business, but I just wasn't sure exactly what that was going to look like. And because of my, I guess my interest in people and conversation, it narrowed it down to something where conversation was going to be a priority, and that was cafe for me. So we decided to get into doing coffee, and I fell in love with specialty coffee after the fact.
That's awesome. So, so technically you tried to bring people together through that love of coffee that you had and the love for people also as well. That's quite interesting. All right, everyone, that was a little bit information about Lucas Spinoza. We're going to take a break, but we'll be right back with more interesting stuff after this.
At Niagara College, we take what we learn out of the classroom and apply it to the real world. With over 100 programs and learning opportunities to choose from, you get real hands-on experience, preparing you for the workplace.
How do I know you'll be proud to wear white and blue? I am a student here, so take my word for it. So do what I did and come to Niagara College. and start your NC story today.
Cut.
Reset.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Siavash, with our guest, Lucas. Lucas, we have a few more questions for you today. So how is diversity a key for you in running the Black Sheep Lounge, and how does that affect your clientele's experience?
That's an incredible question. I mean, from day one, community is the key for us. You know, like I said in a previous question about how I'm so interested in people and in conversation, diversity is a part of that. You know, without having a really strong and healthy community, you're not able to learn, you're not able to grow, and I think not even just from a business perspective, but you know, just a day-to-day enjoyment, happiness, it all comes with learning about different people and their cultures and their background. And I think with a cafe, you're able to have so many repeat daily one-on-one conversations with people that you really do establish relationships with your customers, and you learn all about them and their interests and hobbies, and you're able to integrate that into the shop as well.
Fascinating. So everybody, regardless of who they are and what they do, they can feel safe being in the cafe and talk to people, meeting new people, right?
That's right. I mean, I guess the biggest aspect of where we've been kind of hipster is being ahead of that curve. Before it was something that was mandatory for businesses, we always were inclusive of different cultures and different sexual orientations. We've had gender-free bathrooms since day one, so always having something that, you know, makes people feel safe and makes people feel comfortable in our space.
That's lovely. Lucas, starting something new, starting to learn something new like an instrument can be an interesting challenge. How does that compare to starting a business?
Well, it's tricky. When I started playing music, I was maybe 11 or 12, and I think when you're younger, you have no real handle on what time is, no real concept of time. So spending all day, every day, obsessing over something is easy to do. It's no other responsibilities. But as you get older and you have to start thinking about what you want to do, if you decide you want to get into business, it's kind of similar where you do have to obsess, you do have to spend a lot of time on it, but juggling other responsibilities and making sure that you're still able to make money and pay for the thing that you're passionate about is a bit tricky. But I find if you really do love something and you're willing to put in the work, you figure it out.
Of course, that's right. Based on my experience, yes. If you want to do something, you don't care about the how, you just will get it done. And that's
right.
what you did here today and with your cafe, right? So how do your everyday hobbies and beliefs affect the way you run the Black Sheep Lounge?
Well, with hobbies, I mean, my hobby is talking to people. So I really wanted to make sure that even if I couldn't get rich doing it, if I could just make a half-decent living getting to talk to people, that's a win in itself. So for me, my hobby is talking to people. But same thing with music and art and all sorts of other things. It's been fully integrated by having live music there, by having art on the walls. But beliefs, it really comes down to, again, that diversity concept, you know, making sure that everyone's going to feel like they're an outcast at some point.
Yes.
And that's the whole theme of the Black Sheep, right, is everybody feels like that. So why not have a place for everybody?
Wow, that's amazing. That's quite fascinating. Lucas, over the past 2 years, the pandemic has rocked thousands of small businesses in the area. Can you tell us a little bit about how this experience has affected your business?
For sure. So COVID has been overall okay for us. We pivoted pretty well. The beginning was stressful and uncertain, like every other business had the same roadblock and same obstacles they had to overcome. But for us, with our coffee roasting side of the business, that was kind of more of an accessory to our business than the actual business itself. Pre-pandemic, we were doing a lot of food. We had a pretty active kitchen. We were #1 on TripAdvisor in Welland for restaurants for 5 straight years, so we took it very seriously and did that well. But then we needed to figure out a way to keep making money so that we could keep the lights on and pay our staff during the pandemic. And we were already roasting coffee, but we weren't selling online. So we developed a pretty solid e-commerce business and started doing free local deliveries for people in Niagara, as well as free shipping across Canada for people with minimums. So we were able to really pivot well, and we've continued that. So we still have no kitchen at the moment, but we are focusing very heavily on perfecting our craft in coffee.
All right. That was actually my next question. So that was what helped you go through these tough times, right? Like,
That's right.
Your love for coffee, your love for people. All right, that's good. Next question is, according to your website, because of your shop and the community, you've been able to travel around the world in search of existing roasts to share. Where have you gone, and what special roasts have you found so far?
For sure. I mean, I've spent a good amount of time in Central and South America, really loving that. And not just for finding different coffees and different processing methods, but just meeting people and finding different ways of sharing coffee as an experience. Outside of the roasting process, getting inspiration from different cafes, from different places you go, whether that's across Canada or in the US. And I'm actually working with Niagara College in the background right now to develop a program in Costa Rica. So hopefully this fall we'll spend some time down there with a couple different departments of Niagara College and focus on how we can bring that coffee back here and potentially have a few exciting things on the go.
Wow, I can appreciate the passion. Thanks for sharing that with us. Lucas, I can see some coffee beans over here. Do you pick the names yourself, or can you explain where the names are coming from? Like, what am I seeing here?
Yeah, no, I do pick the names myself. I find in specialty coffee, a lot of people like to stick with just the name of the farm that they get it from, and that's plenty fine. It highlights the farm and the farmer. We still do that on our website, but I find this is very similar to like an album cover when it comes to music, right? So I like something that's going to be eye-catching and kind of a conversation piece, and then they can find out about the coffee after the fact, after they've fallen in love with it. So, for instance, Riddle Maker, I came up with that name because coffee was discovered in Ethiopia. And there is an old tale about Kaldi, who's this goat herder, and the goats started to dance around after eating the cherries, which we find out was the caffeine component of coffee. Blondie, I visited a farm in Honduras with my now fiance Katie, and it's a light roast coffee. She's a blonde, so this was kind of a tribute to her. And so we have similar stories like that with all of the different roasts that we have to shop.
Oh, I can see each name has a story behind it. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Lucas, the other question is, how do you see the future of the Black Sheep Lounge?
That's, I think, the most exciting thing about the Black Sheep is that although I am essentially the captain of the ship, I'm not the sea, I'm not the wind. I don't determine exactly where it's going. I have an idea of where I want the boat to go, but the community, our customers, our staff really determine a lot of what happens and the products that we offer. And I think that's what makes it such an inviting place is that people really do determine what they get to see. They get to create their own favorite place. We do have plans on expanding our roasting operations, so we are opening another location, which is going to be our roasting headquarters. So our current location in Welland will stay a specialty coffee shop and will serve our community, but the roasting operation will move out to a larger, more warehouse-style facility so that we're able to really make it a more efficient process.
So hopefully we're going to be seeing more of you and your amazing work that you're doing here. Unfortunately, we are running short of time a little bit here. I believe that's all the time we have for today. Lucas, thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure having you, and I wish you the best luck.
Thanks, Siavash. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I'm your host, Siavash, and that was Lucas Spinoza, the owner of the Black Sheep Lounge. You can visit their website at the Black Sheep Lounge, Niagara.com. Oh, sorry, that was blacksheepniagara.com. Thank you.